The Suns are now just 2 wins away from delivering Phoenix its first ever NBA championship. Devin Booker scored 459 points in his inaugural postseason, the 4th most of any player in NBA history, while CP3 continues to look desperate for his first ring. Giannis dropped 42 in Game 2 for the Bucks, but he was the only player on his team with a positive plus-minus. So will it be, or will the Milwaukee Bucks become the 5th team ever to win the finals after going down 0-2? I'll give my take on those questions in this video. Before continuing, over 3/4 of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed, so if you fall into that percentage, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100K by the end of this year. Also, leave a like on this video. It takes a few seconds and makes a huge difference. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Mikal Bridges combined for 81 points in Game 3 of the finals, and the ball movement from these Suns was 2014 San Antonio Spurs-esque. The 10-pass sequence that they had in the third quarter was potentially the prettiest play of the NBA Finals, and the kind the one-man show Bucks couldn't dream of, at least right now. The Bucks played good defense on this play, but an all-time great possession from Phoenix where the ball swung from one side of the court to the other multiple times, just beautiful. The Suns set a franchise playoff record for threes made in a single game as 6 players hit multiple shots from deep. For Milwaukee, Giannis had the most points in a finals quarter over the last 25 years, and they had a 9-point lead early on, but it was all Suns after that as Phoenix just seemed to want it more in this one. Giannis was trying to get his teammates going on the sidelines, and he had an amazing 42-point performance, but it didn't help the Greek freak that Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday shot a combined 12 for 37 from the field. But man, even if they shoot a bit better, you could tell that Booker and Paul are far more locked in than 2 of the Bucks' top players in Middleton and Holiday. Specifically, Booker's Mamba mentality has been prevalent. Booker's always preaching the effect that Kobe's had on his game and how he can feel the Black Mamba's presence when he's closing out games. Most recently though, before Game 2 of the finals, in a great interview with ESPN's Malika Andrews, here's what Booker had to say about Kobe.
Maybe one of the greatest winners in the history of this game was Kobe Bryant, and you've worn his shoes continuously through this run. You have the Be Legendary tattoo. There it is. Have you reflected at all on what he has done as you're now trying to do it?
I mean, I've reflected on it mostly my whole childhood and, you know, my whole career, honestly. And, you know, the things that he's done, you know, anybody might not be able to reach that, but just taking bits and pieces of, one, the approach, you know, the mentality, the competitive nature of it, and just trying to implement it into not just my game, but into the team. You don't have to be a basketball player to understand what Kobe has done for, you know, people's mindset and approach to the game. So, you know, that's what, you know, I'll probably take most from him.
Have you thought at all about what he might say to you as you're going through this now, or what you might want to ask him?
Finish the job. That's what he'd tell me. You know, I know that right now. He said, get it done. And that's what we're trying to do.
From Booker's fadeaways to his jab steps and pure determination, he was resembling the late great Kobe Bean Bryant. Devin's fundamentally sound deep-range shot and the clutchness that he has also reminds me of Kobe. Watch how he comes off a screen right here, switching gears before stopping on a dime to break Jeff Teague, before crossing over and seamlessly keeping his balance for a pull-up 3. The comparisons to Kobe should be embraced, not because of their accolades. Booker's done nothing yet, but in terms of what Bryant and Booker have in their offensive bag, I think it's pretty similar. What also impressed me about Booker was how he was getting his teammates going in Game 2. The man was keeping the Bucks defense guessing by making hard drives to the basket and selling jump shot with crafty up fakes along with his body language, but then elusively kicking it out to a teammate. Game 2 of the finals saw the face of the Suns franchise put up 31 points, including 7 3-pointers, 6 dimes, and 5 boards. Chris Paul added 23, 8, and 4 as he and D-Book made history. Booker and Paul scored the most points by a starting backcourt in the first 2 games of a finals since starters were tracked back in 1971. What made things even more tough for the Milwaukee Bucks was that the Suns' role players were stepping up last night. Jay Crowder dropped in 3 first-half triples after not making a field goal in Game 1. But most notably, if Mikal Bridges keeps playing like a legit 3rd/4th scoring option like he did in Game 2, that just adds to the Bucks' dilemma. This man Bridges was splitting screens, pulling up off the dribble, and catching and shooting distance daggers like he's eager to contribute offensively in a big-time way this series. Additionally, DeAndre Ayton continued his stellar playoff run as, even though he only had 10 points, he was tied with Booker and Crowder for the highest plus-minus of any player on the floor in Game 3. Coming off a game where he dominated Ayton's with 22 and 19, Ayton shot just 4 for 10 from the field last night. The Suns have never been closer to an NBA title. That's not bad for a team whose coach told them earlier this year that they had the sorriest starting lineup, but obviously that forced the players to figure things out. It gave them an edge. Monty Williams, by the way, has done an exceptional job. He mixes up his offense perfectly. He doesn't run too much screen and roll. He runs a ton of pin downs and off-ball sets for DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker. As a coach, it's crucial that you get every player in your starting lineup and off your bench involved in the offense, not just running too many ISOs or focusing on one player too much. You got to get everyone involved, and Monty's done the perfect job at that. After the Suns took a 2-0 lead, Booker said after the game, quote, "I think that was the most pumped I've ever been after a playoff game. And you can only imagine how hyped Book's gonna be if the Suns secure a couple more W's." More on the Miracle Suns coming up, but here's the Bucks' perspective right quick. Jrue Holiday was more aggressive, but still mightily struggled with his efficiency like he did in Game 1. Holiday did score 17, but he was just 7 for 21. Chris Middleton was even worse at 5 for 16, which forced the banged-up Antetokounmpo to carry an even heavier load. Going into Game 2, it felt like a must-win for the Bucks. Against Brooklyn, the Bucks did come back from an 0-2 deficit, but every series is different, and going down 0-2 in the finals has proved to be a recipe for disaster. Only 4 teams ever in the 2016 Cavs, the 2006 Heat, the 1977 Blazers, and the 1969 Celtics have come back from being down 0-2 in the finals. Of course, there's been a ton of outstanding back-and-forth finals matchups throughout history, but almost always those series take place after the road team steals at least one in the opposing team's building. I'm not saying it can't happen, I'm just saying that history isn't on their side. Everything is going to have to be different for the Bucks. Their big three needs to trust each other more. Giannis has been playing really damn well, but he does need to get his teammates involved a little bit better, and the team overall has to bring the swagger, focus, and confidence that they showed throughout the first 3 rounds. Having said that, Phoenix's togetherness, leadership from their superstars, and top-notch coaching from Monty Williams look like they're too much to handle for Milwaukee, though. I mean, Middleton and Holiday have been completely outplayed in every facet of the game by Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Chris and Jrue seem to be built and ready for this moment, but through the first 2 games of the finals, they just haven't showed up. Without the rigorous Suns crowd counting the seconds on Giannis's free throws and the fresh and fiery Bucks faithful behind them, maybe Milwaukee bounces back, but Mike Budenholzer's team has to drop their egos and play with an edge like the Suns did on their home court, because home won't take care of Milwaukee, it's on them to take care of home. As some say, this series doesn't start until the home team loses, but given the dreaded history with not even 5 teams having erased an 0-2 deficit in the finals, I wonder if that starts to get to the Bucks. Overall, I don't know who's looking better right now, Devin Booker or the Suns in 4 guy. Let me know all your takes in the comments section. This was D-Flow. Have a great day, and I'll see you next video.